if this was an actual real thing and, you know, the people were knocking on your door and, you know, requesting your card once they found out this piece of information, what would that be?
I do not eat watermelon.
And not like tolerates or like you just simply dislike it.
Dislike it.
Okay.
Tried it many ways as a kid. And literally I've had people say to me, "You're not Black."
No. Watermelon's actually overrated in my book. And then people
totally overrated.
What's going on, everybody? Thanks for joining us for another episode of the Black Student Success Podcast, where we bring you insight and guidance from successful Black professionals and students. My name is Selvin, and as always, we appreciate the support. So today we have Jaquilla Ross on the show. She is an accountant, and she's actually a lot more than just an accountant. She is a businesswoman, an educator, financial literacy philanthropist. So we're going to talk to her about her experience, how she kind of built up to where she's at now, and just some of the things that she's learned along the way. So Jaquilla, thanks for joining us. How you doing?
I'm going good. How about you?
I'm doing well. Thank you. Thank you for your time. So we're going to start the show how we always do by asking, who is Jaquilla Ross?
All right. So I am a native of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I've been here my whole life. I went to Marquette University for undergrad, UW-Whitewater for my master's. And in the midst of grad school, I also began to work at Johnson Controls as an accountant. So my undergrad and my master's are both in accounting. And then shortly after that, I worked as an auditor for Deloitte & Touche. It's one of the big four public accounting firms. And in 2016, I actually lost my job there. I was laid off. They were doing quite a few layoffs, and I was one of the people unfortunately laid off. And at that point in time, I decided to start my own business, which is Ross Financial LLC. And then I also began to teach at the collegiate level. And since then, I've taught at many schools around the city and state. So Whitewater being one of them, MATC, Alverno, Cardinal Stretch, Bryan and Stratton. I think that's it. I might be leaving one or two out, but I've taught at quite a few schools around the city. So that's been definitely a great journey there. And so currently right now I am just teaching part-time and working for myself full-time.
Okay. And then, you know, the layoff thing, it can, you know, be a blessing in disguise. And we're now 5 years in and you're still doing the same thing. Would you say that was the case for you?
Yes, absolutely. Because it was 2016 and my business has definitely grown like year after year since then. And basically what Ross Financial is, it's an accounting firm where we prepare income tax returns. We do accounting / bookkeeping for medium to medium business, as well as financial literacy, whether it's a speaking engagement or one-on-one coaching sessions. Just, to keep people, aware of the financial literacy things they can do to, pretty much live a better financial, healthy life.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So it definitely a lot that keeps you busy at this point, and definitely a good roll into the next question, just knowing what the different variations of working kind of in the accounting world is. And you have, taken steps in a lot of different directions, being able to teach your whole accounting firm, working with individuals and organizations. Can you speak to some of those different areas, whether there's something that you've actually experienced or not?
Yes. Oh my gosh. So the great thing about accounting is that it's a very broad field. So one thing is that a lot of people assume that all accountants know how to do income tax returns. That's not true. They may be familiar with it because we do have to take that course in college, but every accountant does not like income taxes. I was actually that person for a very long time. I will always do my own taxes and some of my family members, but that was about it. And then I just realized that this is a field that, you don't see a lot of African Americans in on their own. And why not, help individuals learn how to properly plan for taxes so that they're, could minimize owing as much as possible. So that's one area. Then obviously there's academia, but you have to make sure you receive your master's in accounting, or you can go on and receive a PhD in accounting, and then you'll be considered faculty. You can be a financial advisor if you want to go down that route. Because, a lot of the knowledge that they have, kind of ties into some of the things that we learn as well. You may have to obviously get some additional certifications, but it's not something that's completely off from you. Wow. You can, what's the next word I was looking for? Oh, I just completely went blank. There's so much. Like if you just think about anything, not anything finance, because when it comes to like investments, like that's not my lane. That's more of a financial advisor or someone who was a finance major. They get into like investments. I have a little knowledge, but that's not what accounting is. You can work for the FBI and be a forensic accountant. So you'll be investigating fraud. And that's just a small list. Like it's literally the sky's the limit when you have an accounting degree. It's one of the hardest degrees in the College of Business, if not the hardest, that's for sure. But it's worth it because I can literally go get a job doing almost just about anything just because I have an accounting degree.
Yeah. Every business has to have some type of either person in place to do all the accounting or a team or whatever the case is. And just as you explained, it's a number of different fields, a number of different industries that will need that, basically all those numbers to add up correctly. And I'm glad that you actually pointed out the whole tax thing, because that was a thought that I had, that every accountant knows how to do taxes, because that's really probably the only thing that you would see if you don't know the field or know somebody in the field. So I'm glad that you pointed that out.
Yeah, absolutely. Because a lot of tax preparers are not accountants. Like if someone wants to become a tax preparer, you just go through the course, you apply for the ID number, and you're all good. Obviously, you need to have some type of maybe some other type of credential behind yourself. Like obviously I was fine because I majored in accounting, and then I just got the ID number. But H&R Block, they'll hire anybody. They'll teach you how to do it, and then boom. So yeah, that is definitely a one assumption that's incorrect, because most tax preparers are not accountants.
Yeah. No. Well, thank you for pointing that out. Do you have any other like misconceptions in mind of, what, the general public would think when it comes to accountants, that you might be able to clear up?
Yeah. So one, I would say the other big one is that, that must mean you're really good at math. That is not true. We use a calculator a lot. And it's very basic math that we have to do, if even some, because we use Excel files and that everything's up for us. As an accountant, it is your job to understand what the numbers mean. You have to explain, why did this go from 10 to 15 when it should have went, maybe we expect to go 10 to 20, whatever the case may be. You need to be able to explain what the numbers mean. It really doesn't take a lot of work to formulate some things together and add some things up. That's the easy part. As an accounting major, I took 2 accounting math classes. That's it. And that's only because the college required me to do it. Other than that, it doesn't, obviously you do want to like numbers. Some people just don't like numbers. But you don't have to be like a math genius to be an accountant.
Okay. So it sounds like a lot more organizing and critical thinking to be able to talk to someone who just has a general knowledge of, them working and they made this much and they have these expenses and things like that. You're just kind of putting that all together for them.
Exactly. It's the theory behind the numbers.
Okay. Appreciate that explanation. That I'm sure that clears it up, especially the whole math thing, because that's probably one of those biggest things. And, math isn't something that comes natural for everybody. But if that's some area that you want to be able to utilize that to help people in the same way that you do, then, you now can open up this field to those people.
Right. Exactly.
Absolutely. So now, one of the things that I did find, I believe it was in the Journal of Accountancy, that is about 2% of all of the CPAs in the US are Black. So what advice would you give to a Black student who's actually thinking about getting into the field, whether that's something that you learned while you were in school, once you got into the job field, or maybe even when you considered, going for your master's degree or starting your business? What advice would you give to, someone who was in your shoes and kind of taking this road?
Absolutely. So my first advice would be get your CPA right away. That is the one thing that's still lingering over me. And I've been out of school for quite some time now, and I'm still going to do it. It's just obviously now with life, it's a little bit harder to dedicate time to it. So the way they're setting the CPA up now, it's changed. It has changed so much since when I did it. Like you absolutely have to have 150 credits to even start taking the exam. But now I believe you just need like 120 something. Don't quote me for sure on that. But you don't need the 150 yet. You have to eventually get there, but you don't need it right away. So as soon as you're able to start taking the CPA exam, take it. Like it is definitely the hardest exam in the world besides the bar, the California bar at that. That's what, to be particular. But I take it right away. Like do not wait. Don't hold back. It's really up to you if you want to get a master's degree. Just think about what you want to do in the future. For me, I always knew I wanted to teach. I actually wanted to be a teacher, but I knew I could make more money being an accountant. Sorry, no shade to teachers. That was just what I personally wanted to do. And I'm happy that, and so that I could combine both of those, I decided to go on and get my master's because I knew that later on I would teach part-time and then I ended up teaching full-time, which is great. Like I got to fulfill that purpose and I'm still fulfilling that purpose through my business. So it's really, I just say, if you feel like a master's degree is something that you're actually going to utilize later, then get it. If not, you're totally fine with the undergrad, but make sure you get your CPA exam. Like it's going to set you totally apart.
There you go. Yeah. And there's always a thing of making yourself competitive when you get into the job field and marketable and having that CPA, especially with the low representation for our people in it. That's definitely going to set you apart a lot more in that case. Right. And I'm glad that you pointed out the the aspirations of teaching, but you still found a way to marry those two things because it is what it is. The salary of a teacher is different. It's different than what an accountant has. But again, you still can take that knowledge and be able to teach. And I know that at least with teaching on that undergrad collegiate level, you need to have a level above. So I see that your focus to get that master's degree actually had a very direct purpose. So, so thanks for pointing that out. Mm-hmm. Now, along with, taking the CPA early on, is there any other advice that you could go back and, talk to Jaquilla back at Marquette and say, hey, girl, go ahead and do this? What's something that you would go and visualize?
So definitely always get an internship. I was blessed. I did have an internship just about every summer during the summer breaks. So that's something I would remind younger Jaquilla of is grind hard, internship. Scholarships. So this has nothing to do with accounting, like apply for scholarships every single year. Like you can totally avoid student loan debt. That's probably the number one thing I would have told my younger self is keep applying for scholarships, apply for those ones where they require an essay because those are the ones that everyone else is not applying to. So just take the time out and apply for it. Like, don't be lazy. Like I was lazy when it came to some scholarships. I avoided some scholarships just because if they were more lengthy. And that's a lot of people still to this day. So don't do that because those are the ones that the dollars go on call for. See if you can, if there's not a chapter at your school, look out for the National Association of Black Accountants, AKA NABA. NABA wasn't at Marquette when I was there. I didn't find out about NABA until years after I was in my career. And that has definitely been an amazing support system. I'm actually the president of the Milwaukee chapter currently, of the professional Milwaukee chapter. So look for, how you can get connected because you don't necessarily have to have a chapter at your school. You can still become a member of NABA and take advantage of our student conferences, take advantage of our scholarship applications. A lot of that money goes uncalled for. For example, in the Milwaukee chapter, we had 3 scholarships to give out this past year, and we had 0 applications, and we extended the deadline. That's for both high school and college students. So you have to make sure to keep applying for scholarships so that you can leave school with little to no debt.
There you go. Yeah, those associations, especially the ones that are focused on the Black professionals, they're always giving out money, as you know. So it's good that you pointed that out.
And jobs. So they have a huge career fair where almost all the students walk away with an internship. And nowadays they're like begging you to come work for them.
Right.
If you're Black and you're an accountant, and as long as you get good grades, like definitely good grades, because they're not just going to hand things to you. get good grades, like you're going to have employers like at your feet. Like everybody wants that. Everybody wants more people of color.
Mm-hmm.
And there's not a lot of us in the accounting field. So have your options, do what you have to do so you can have options.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And there's definitely a freedom with having options. So if you're able to do that, go ahead and do so. And yeah, thanks for pointing out the scholarship thing, apply like it's your full-time job. That's,
oh my gosh, yes.
Because
I wish I would have did that.
Yeah.
That's the
likewise.
only regret I have from college.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, the money's out there. And then, everybody you may be surprised if you actually look up how much money gets uncalled. It's quite a bit. So, definitely go out and push to get all of that. One of the questions that we do ask all of our guests is, what is their definition of success? What is it that, that you strive for or that you have accomplished? And you can say that, okay, I've met that personal fulfillment of success in my career.
That's a good question. I'm still trying to figure that out. But if I had to, because I'm really hard on myself, but if I had to measure it out right now, it would be success to me is waking up every day and enjoying what you're doing, where it's not a job anymore. This is literally your career and it's fulfilling, and it doesn't feel like, oh my gosh, I don't feel like doing this. I mean, granted, you're going to have days like this, but if you're consistently feeling like that, then to me, that's not a success story. That's okay. You're just working a job, and we need to figure out what's going to truly make you happy, what's going to be fulfilling for you in life. So currently, I would say my success at this moment is the fact that I'm able to just connect with so many people and give them knowledge about financial literacy, because that is a huge issue in the country and especially within the Black and Brown community. So whenever I teach a course, whether it's to a high school group, a college group, or even an adult group of people, because I've touched all three areas, that gives me a lot of fulfillment when somebody comes back and tell me, hey, I did what you told me to do and it worked. Mm-hmm. That means I succeeded in what I'm supposed to do and pour into everybody in the world.
Yeah. When that one person can come back and say that, okay, what you said is, actually helped me meet or even exceeded my goals is definitely one of those things. I definitely had those same sentiments, especially within financial aid, because you see practices and you're like, yes. you can only do so much to try to mitigate those things. And I'm sure that even with you having your own business too, that you have even a little bit more power to do that. And then, being an educator. So you have all these different positions and you have put yourself in a position to to be that great advice that you're looking to spread. So that's awesome.
Right. And then I would say for the audience, notice I didn't say anything about money because to me, success is not measured by money. The money will come. If you pour out good into this world, best believe the money will come.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's out there. It's out there. Yeah. So yeah, if that's the last thing you're worrying about, then everything's going to be all right. So that's what's up. All right. So lastly, Jaquilla, just a fun question that we have here. What's something that would get your Black card revoked? If this was an actual real thing and, the people were knocking on your door and, requesting your card, once they found out this piece of information, what would that be?
I do not eat watermelon.
And not like tolerates or like you just simply dislike it.
Okay. Tried it many ways as a kid. And literally I've had people say to me, you're not Black.
No. Watermelon's actually overrated in my book. And then people
totally overrated.
It was once people started putting on the grills, okay, all right, now you're just trying to make it work.
Oh my gosh. Right. Yeah, no, I don't eat watermelon. Just about everybody know around me eat it, but I was the one kid at the barbecues when we were younger, not eating it.
Right. Pass me the peach. I'm good with that.
Exactly.
What's up. All right. Well, Jaquilla, that's all I have for you. Thank you so much for being on the podcast. I want to give you an opportunity to let people know how people can reach you. If there's anything that you have coming up that you want to share and let people know, I want to give you the floor for that.
Absolutely. So on Facebook, my business page is Ross Financial LLC. I also have my group, which is Finance Girl, and that's Girl with the U by Jaquilla Ross, where I post some updated information in there just about finances in general. So you can feel free to join that group. My Instagram handle is Finance Girl, also with a U. As far as anything upcoming, not currently at the moment, soon before you know it, tax season will be here. So I'll be prepping for that. But just as of now, I'm just working on, just trying to rebrand myself and get some other things out there now that I'm like focusing just solely on my business. So I would say, follow the pages so you can stay tuned. And for those, if you're interested in a 101 financial consulting session, you can reach out to me via Facebook or Instagram.
There you go. And we'll make sure to have all that information in the description, and definitely consider that consultation. Could be a lot of things, even just from, starting to have that conversation that you could then start thinking about and want to pursue, especially to kind of not even just meet financial goals, but kind of open up things so that you can kind of live the life you want to live. So,
right. I forgot about my website. It's JaquillaRoss.com.
Okay. Perfect.
So you can book a session that way too.
Awesome. All right. Well, again, Jaquilla, thank you so much for joining. And thanks to everybody who's been watching and listening. Please be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. That's at Inquire Higher. Check our website out, inquirehigher.com. And then we have our newly open online community where we link Black professionals and students and provide them with resources so they can get those resources a lot more directly and make more meaningful connections there. So until next time, peace.